How you guys doing today? Today we're going to be in my 1998 Jeep Cherokee. I got to pull the transmission. It's an AX15. Usually I would call a couple friends, we'd hang out, pull the transmission, but due to the COVID-19 outbreak, everyone's quarantined. So I figured I'd make a video, bring you guys along. Hopefully we can have some fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. I got the shifter off already. I pulled the drive shafts off. I'm going to drop the cross member. I have an Iron Rock off-road lift kit, so I do have that cross member. We'll get that down, and then we'll get the transmission out. Let's get started. Alright guys, so we got 2 more bolts to pull out. I'm going to get the jack underneath, loosen the trans mount bolts, and then we can get the cross member down, and we can start working on the bell housing. Let's go. Alright, so now that the cross member's down, we're going to take a look at the slave cylinder here. This is a new slave cylinder. I have had some problems with this master slave cylinder. To be honest, I just got it off Rock Auto. It was the most affordable option. Every now and then my clutch pedal gets stuck, but it's only really when I'm driving it hard. I haven't had this thing really in the trails since I put this transmission in. I only kind of mocked it up. You can see the inspection plate's not even completely bolted in. This AX15 is actually out of a YJ. So I took the AX15 that I had swapped into it about 2 years ago, and I pulled the bell housing and the clutch fork and all that good stuff. So that's why it's not really completely together, but we'll get the slave cylinder out. I already have my 4-wheel drive link disconnected. Once we get the slave cylinder out, we'll pull the starter, and then we can start on the bell housing. Now, the top 2 bell housing bolts from the factory on these Jeeps, it's a reverse Torx. It's an E12. That's because there's very limited space up there. So what I've done, actually, let's see if I can get it to focus, is I've replaced those bolts. There, those 2. So they're Allen heads, actually. Because of how tight it is, you're not able to get a full socket around the bolt. So they're an Allen. We'll see how it is. I put them in maybe 2 months ago. So we'll pull it back out. We'll see what happens. So let's get started with that. Alright guys, so we got the slave cylinder off. We'll get the starter off here. I apologize if there's any background noise. Today's the first nice day we've had in a little bit. So all the neighbors are out walking their dogs and the kids are playing. And that's just my cat rattling around in there. Back before I had my lift kit, I used to have a Borla cat back on this. And still took it up the mountain. I just didn't do the harder trails there. And one trip I was coming down a rock and I heard it scratch. Came home the next day, I pulled it off. Figured it wasn't worth destroying it. I ended up basically getting my money back out of it. I know a Borla exhaust is kind of extreme for a 98 Cherokee. There's our starter. New clutch, new flywheel, so we'll give that a quick inspection. It should have been broken in. Did drive the Jeep for about maybe 2 weeks. So the reason for me pulling it is we weren't really sure the condition of this AX15. So I wanted to get it in for a quick test, but it turns out we are leaking something. I think it's the input shaft seal, because I did kind of mess with that. It used to be an internal sleeve. So we'll get that seal taken care of, and we'll inspect everything, see how everything looks. Oil pan gasket that I just replaced looks pretty good. Rear main seal doesn't seem to be leaking, but I do have a little bit of oil left here that could just be from the plug. I'm not really too sure, but we'll get that checked out, and let's keep moving along. All right, so I have a little organization tip for you guys here. Whenever I pull bolts out, I replace them, but sometimes you can't do that. Here for the starter, if I replace this this lower bolt, then I can't pull the inspection plate, or I can't pull the transmission because the inspection plate will still be connected to it. So there's a sleeve on the starter. So to keep the bolt there, here's what I did. So I put the bolt through the sleeve, you can see, but working in my driveway, a lot of times it could rain or even snow in the winter time. So if you put a little zip tie on it here, then that bolt won't come out. And when you're ready, just grab a pair of dikes, nip the zip tie, and you have your bolt ready exactly where you need it to be. So that's just a little trick there for you. I'm gonna keep on going. So I don't want to bore you guys with too many long time lapses. Basically what you didn't see was I got the jack situated, put a ratchet strap under it, took off the rest of the bolts going into the block, and from there on is what you see. Thanks for watching the video, guys. That was a lot of fun. It's my first video I ever made. If you like the video, I'll make more. That'd be great. Comment, please. Let me know. Feedback, anything. Yeah. Thanks, guys. See you next time.